thank you guys for coming in and talking with us today. So if we want to just talk a little bit about the first time that you guys worked with Oasis Home Buyers, do you remember exactly when that was?
Yeah, so it was 2020. So uh, we were looking to sell our home, and um, we saw a commercial with Michael
Yeah.
and Oasis Home Buyers, and I remember it was late at night, and we had watched it, and he had mentioned just a couple things, no closing costs, essentially how quick the process could be, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna call him.
Yeah.
And so that next day, I called Michael, and we talked briefly on the phone, and he had actually asked if he could just come over and look at the house, and I said, yeah, absolutely. So Michael came over that same day, and we walked around the house, and we talked for a little bit, and he made me an offer that day he came over,
Yeah.
and we ended up making the deal, and then I called her because I wasn't expecting it to be like so quick.
Yeah.
So I called her and I was like, "Hey, just want to let you know,
Yeah.
sold the house."
It was a big surprise, a
We're
good
doing it.
surprise.
Well, yeah, she wanted to sell the house,
Yeah, I
but
was very excited.
we
to
just
get that
didn't know
call.
it was going to be like that.
I was
Yeah.
like, great. That
So,
was easy.
from there, I kind of talked to him about, what our plans were. We wanted to move into an apartment and look for a new house. And so he was all about that. He wanted to work with me to make sure that we could get in there. So he gave me all the time we needed, and obviously, the benefits were fantastic. We didn't have to pay any closing costs, and one of the things too that I forgot to mention was that he had said that if there was anything we didn't want too,
Right.
we
You
didn't
just
have to
leave
bring it.
Yeah.
And that was huge too, actually, because so her family actually lives in New York, and my family lives in England.
Okay.
So we don't really have a lot of people here, like to help
Yeah.
move and stuff. And my son, my oldest son, at that time he was still pretty young to help me move, and it made it a lot easier to get out of the house because there was a lot of stuff that we didn't want. So. Yeah, so it was just a great experience that first time around.
Really easy process, stress free.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I know we have Michael here with us, and I hear you asking who Michael is. Did you get to meet Michael when you guys came in today? Really
Yeah.
quick? He had a black shirt on.
Yeah, it was the guy we were talking to, Michael.
And he
He's
let you
Michael,
play
too.
with his toys?
Yeah, that's Michael. So Michael and I are the ones that are in the TV commercial, but back when you guys did this the first time around, it was just Michael, and he was the one that came out to the house and made the offer originally. And so a lot of the times too, we hear, and I heard you mention before that you don't feel like you're necessarily like working with a business,
Right.
but people that genuinely care. And I do. It makes me very happy to hear that you guys are saying that, and I can feel that you genuinely
It's
mean
genuinely,
that.
yes.
Because that is the biggest thing that I know that we're doing to differentiate ourselves from other, you hear like cash home buyers
Right.
or,
Yeah.
different terms, and a lot of the times you get that like, ooh, I don't know if I want to, work with
Right.
someone like that, and we really do everything that we are doing because we want to help our community. We're all, local here, and it means a really big deal to us too to make sure that we're just elevating the
Yep.
housing market and the situation rather than letting other people in the industry kind of like maybe take advantage, or you hear like lowballing all the time and things like that, or you hear the advertisements that they buy as is, and then when it comes down to it they really don't. And so I'm glad too that I think all the time about people who, the types of people that we like, also help. Sometimes they're a little bit older and like they really can't move their
Mhm.
property out if they're moving to like an assisted living place.
Yep.
Or, you know, someone that doesn't have a lot of family around. Like, I
Mhm.
get that too. You know, my family, actually, my parents are moving to Columbus in a couple weeks.
Oh.
But up until this point, I haven't had, you know, family around.
Right.
And it's been, you know, hard. So it makes me happy to hear that
Yeah.
For
Oasis was able to provide that opportunity for you guys.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
grateful
absolutely.
for you guys.
Oh, we're,
Yeah.
we're grateful for you guys, honestly. It
And-
makes us happy to
Yeah,
have a good
and
relationship with
you
everyone
know,
that we work with.
the best thing about it too was there were no surprises.
Yes.
I mean, everything that he said is how it happened,
For sure.
and that's just, you know, nowadays it just seems like it's never the way it goes.
Never.
You know,
Yeah.
so that was
Complete trust.
fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah.
We definitely, like, the last thing we ever would want to do is overpromise and underdeliver.
Yeah.
And, you know, we talk all the time with our team here about how what we're doing is, we say, like, the white glove experience, and we really want our clients and our newfound family, you know, to feel like you are being taken care of.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know, too, so this is the second time that
Yeah,
you
it's
guys
the
are
second
working
time.
with us.
That is.
And
It's
so
kinda
was
crazy.
there that like moment where you guys kind of looked at each other and you were like, time to call Oasis
Yeah,
again?
it was a no-brainer. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, that makes me happy. What did that, you know, conversation or those thoughts kind of look
Well,
and sound like?
You know, so we did buy another house, and you know, we were there for a few years, but you know, I ended up getting an unexpected promotion,
Congrats.
and it opened a lot of doors for what I can do and where I can go.
Yeah.
And you know, things have gotten so expensive these past, you know, just the past year.
Yeah.
And you know, so we decided that even though we purchased a house, you know, just recently, that we wanted to take a different direction, you know. And you know, at first we had put our house up on the market, and you know, we just didn't have much luck. Not a lot of people were having a lot of luck selling their houses at that
Yeah.
time. And I decided, I mean, I was like, I'll just call Michael and see, just to see what, you know, they have to say about it. And sure enough, we ended up making another deal. And you know, I can't tell you how awesome that is. And, you know, it's just so great that you guys were able to work with us on that one too.
It was
you know?
a huge weight lifted
Oh,
off
man.
our shoulders.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
When's the official move date?
So we're actually moving into our new place on the 16th of August, and then we're closing on our house the first week of September.
Okay.
So
Big
Coming up.
things coming.
I know, it's
Yeah.
exciting.
Oh, that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in working with Oasis, you know, did you mention too that you had listed the
Yes.
house? So can you talk a little bit about like the different experience that you had going through the process of working with a realtor? I know you mentioned, you know, people were having a hard time, you know, selling their house, and that's how you came to the conclusion to call us again. But what were some of the differences of like leading up to listing your house, the different things you had to go through, and then when you called Oasis?
Well, one of the things that, you know, kind of upset us was, you know, like I said previously, when we bought the house, we came to closing, and literally sitting at the table ready to sign, they told us that they needed $12,000 because that's how the county was collecting taxes on that house, and we didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
And we paid it, but you know, obviously that's a lot of money. And
Yeah.
you know, the thing that kind of frustrated us the most was we got some showings and stuff, but we never got any feedback from a realtor. That drove us nuts. Like you know, after the showings were over, we were waiting for some kind of call, and they never would call us. You know, with even if it was, well, hey, you know, we had these two show up, and you know, they had this to say. You know, we want to know that kind of stuff, just so if there's anything that we could have done to, you know, obviously help.
Yeah.
We were absolutely going to do that, but that was definitely frustrating for me, I think.
For sure, same.
Also, if you guys don't mind sharing, what was the price point that you guys determined to list the house at with the realtor originally?
$435,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what was the price point that Oasis is purchasing?
That was, I can't remember the exact dollar amount, but it was the break-even amount. And I
Yeah.
think that was 392.
92?
Yeah, 392,000, I think.
Yeah, so, when it's like all said and done with realtor fees and all of that,
Oh, yeah,
it
absolutely.
wasn't, gonna be much of a difference
No,
as far
no.
as that.
And
just
more surprises.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We do absolutely everything we can. One of the things that I do here is I call our sellers right before we go to closing,
Yeah.
and we have a conversation about what you can expect when you do go to the closing table, and that when you were just referencing, it was a surprise that you had to bring 12 grand.
Yeah.
We make sure that if there are any, because I think a lot of the times too, like in school they don't teach you what you do when you buy and sell a house most of the time. I haven't come across an education system that's showing you that.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the times, like, you don't know what you don't know. And so we definitely do everything that we can to make sure that there aren't those surprises.
Yeah.
And when people call in, they're always like, well, what's the hidden fee? Like, what are you going to hit me with? And I'm like, we don't. And, like, we
Yeah,
go
it's
through,
nice.
on all of the paperwork, and we let you know anything that would be your responsibility. And then we always cover the closing costs
Right.
and, no additional commissions or anything like that.
Yep.
So, what are the 3 words, if you can think of 3, that you would, say describe Oasis or your experience with Oasis?
Trustworthy.
Trustworthy is definitely one.
Compassionate.
Yep.
What's another one?
And I'm gonna say quick.
Yeah.
It's
that's a good
really
one.
quick process. Yeah.
Good.
Absolutely.
Good. Was there anything that you guys feel like we haven't touched on that you would like to share with anyone else? Or when you guys, I know you said that you talk about Oasis a lot.
I do. I tell my friends about it, because I think a lot of people, they just don't understand. I think it's because, we kind of talked about, those hidden surprises, and I'll admit that when I called the first time, I didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah.
And after going through it, and the experience was just so quick and easy, and everything was explained, and no surprises. I think people just don't realize that that's actually out there.
Right.
They're
There's no
always
catch.
expecting something.
Yeah, there's no catch.
Yeah,
and
they're expecting a catch. So anybody that talks about selling their home, I always bring it up to them.
Yeah.
How we've done it and how easy it is.
Like it's not necessary to go through all that extra stuff.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
can just go this route and
Yep.
be done.
Yeah.
They take all the stress and make it as easy as possible. So.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you coming out and talking with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Michael.
Welcome.